Welcome to CC Talks, the podcast where we see and talk about life and its stories through games, books, songs, but mostly movies. Today we're gonna we're gonna cover Mulan and well Disney in particular. I'm saying this because we haven't watched Mulan, but we've heard and read a lot of news and reviews concerning the movie. And man, so we're just gonna briefly talk about Mulan, and then we're gonna jump straight into the whole kerfuffle that is Disney right now, lah, with Star Wars, with Disney Plus, and a lot of other things.
I mean, we're probably gonna watch it somewhere down the line, but we are in absolutely no hurry to see it.
I'm not gonna watch it at all. I'm just gonna rewatch the animated Mulan because So today we have Delton again with me. We actually just recorded the Tenet not long ago, and we just really felt the urge that we need to do this Mulan one because, my god, reading all the bad reviews and impressions from fans and critics, it's just not fun.
I wouldn't say it's all bad across the board. I would say mixed to negative. One or two positives here and there from people I surprisingly follow. But for the most part, this movie is getting trashed critically, and not just because of whatever people think about the actress' political thoughts. It's just on the movie as a whole. It apparently sounds pretty bad.
Yeah. So spoiler warning, from this point on, we're just gonna say whatever we're gonna say. So from what we heard from reviewers that we follow and we trust, trusted critics and friends with a good taste, and from what we heard, basically what made Mulan great, the animated Mulan, is basically just stripped away and just there's nothing left in this new remake of Mulan. I mean, my biggest problem when I hear all the reviews is that, well, Mulan the animated was a story of a typical normal Chinese girl, Chinese family, very traditional, and through her own courage and through her own ingenuity, she saves the day. And of course with the help of her friends and the general who didn't trust her at the start. So it's just based on her own courage and bravery, and she used her own brains to solve problems. And from what we heard from all the reviews and people who's watched the show, this new remake of Mulan had nothing like that. She has chi powers and she is the chosen one to save the day. And there is just no essence of Mulan. There's no wushu, right?
No wushu.
There's no music. Okay, fine.
No songs. No people actually singing on screen.
Yeah.
I mean, fine. I get that they were trying to go for a different approach.
Fine, that's okay.
Yeah.
But I heard that they removed wushu, which was actually the heart and soul of the original Mulan. I mean, he was there to provide
not just comic relief.
He provided a different kind of perspective to the whole story in Mulan.
I mean, he was an outcast in the film, and basically Mulan was too. So it's like all these band of outcasts who end up actually saving the day through sheer determinism, and not just because
Chi
power or the chosen one. They actually work their asses off to save the day.
Wushu in this remake is a giant phoenix that flies in the sky and points them to the correct direction to go to. So if you play games, it's basically a waypoint marker lah.
So it's like the eagles at the end of Lord of the Rings, right?
No, that is they transport, but this is not. The phoenix, I think I didn't watch the movie, I'm just guessing here already. I believe it's just her chi power directing her where to go, like an instincts.
Oh man.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I can't judge. Maybe if I see the movie, if it's executed alright, who knows? Maybe it's entertaining. But on paper, onwards, that sounds quite dubious.
Yeah. So again, we never watched the movie, so we can't review like how things are done.
Yeah, we cannot give it a proper review.
Story bits like how Mulan has chi powers instead of using her courage. These kind of things we can critique. Because why?
No, I tell you why. I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna mangle a phrase from a previous certain other Disney taken over franchise film.
Sure.
It's like, who are you? I'm Mulan. Mulan Skywalker. And the credits roll.
No, I don't get it because let's say if that they're saying that they want to do something different, right? And people, let's say those people who like Mulan and they're going to say that, you can't compare it to the animated series, you can't always compare, you must accept it, it's different. But here's the thing for me, if you're just not going to follow the original Mulan story, then why even call it Mulan? Just call it something else, like Malun, whatever lah, just a different name lah. Because if you're going to take a previous IP you're going to take a previous character where people already love. 100% people are going to compare. It just can't be helped. Why?
Maybe those who enjoy the Disney movie, they will definitely be disappointed with the version that comes out from the sounds of it. But because I know Mulan is not originally a Disney character, it's actually based off Chinese. Is it a legend or a true story?
I think it's a legend.
I'm not familiar with it. It's a legend.
Yeah.
So so the movie is trying to borrow from both the Disney movie and the legend, and it's like this weird amalgamation of both. And from the most part, from the reviews I've read, I may be wrong, the people who seem to follow the historical or the legend side more seems to enjoy it more than the people who enjoy the Disney side.
Then they could have just easily add a subtitle. I mean, in today's world of cinema, subtitles are just like a normal thing.
Right.
Mulan ... the legend of whatever.
Which brings me to another point. The movie should have been shot in original Mandarin language.
Yeah.
Why is it in English? Yeah. Disney.
And they were pushing authenticity and they want to make it look. So if you're going to push authenticity, you must just go all the way.
Look at the cast. Crystal Liu Yifei, Gong Li, Donnie Yen, Jet Li. These are like top tier Chinese movie stars.
And if it's Disney, it's all about the money. You make a Mandarin movie, it's going to sell in China. 100% it will sell great in China.
It will make gangbusters in China. No doubt this movie will definitely make big bucks in China, except Hong Kong. That's another story. But
even more if it's in Mandarin.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. See, I don't get Disney. And which is where, so that's a very quick chat about Mulan, right? Okay. And a lot of things goes back to Disney's decision making, which if you followed them through the years, aside from their Pixar movies, at least me personally, I really can't get along with what they're trying to do. I don't get it. Especially let's say we talk about remakes, because we're talking about Mulan, right? The Beauty and the Beast remake, the Jungle Book remake. What else? I don't know what
Cinderella.
Cinderella.
Disney Plus, Lady and the Tramp.
They remake the one with Angelina Jolie.
Maleficent Sleeping. It wasn't a remake.
It's a remake of a remake.
It was a revisionist remake. So they flipped the protagonist side around.
Coming out of Tenet, I have to say it's an inverted remake then.
Oh goodness. Reverse entropy remake.
It totally destroyed everything, yes lah. So Disney's decisions to remake, right? Before this, I really couldn't understand why are they just remaking all these beloved classics. In a way, you can say that we love those stories, so why not do it again with modern day graphics and modern day acting?
Fine, I get that notion, yeah.
But if you're gonna strip it away from the essence of what made it great, if you're gonna change the story so much that it's a whole different movie altogether, why even bother calling it the same thing?
I'll give them this. I actually enjoyed the Jungle Book remake. It was very different compared to the original. I know a lot of people disagree, but I thought the Jungle Book remake was actually pretty good. The rest, not so much.
Lion King.
But Lion King, I hated because they changed absolutely nothing about the movie. Absolutely nothing, and it looked totally off. Like, I get it, they're trying to do like photorealistic animation. The animation's superb, but absolutely nothing was changed apart from a new song, which is just background filler. I mean, so what gives?
But that's the point with Lion King, right? We love it because it was so fun to see animals being animated that way, animals expressing. It's part of the Disney charm. But then here you go remake it and remove that charm away, and that's like taking half the movie. I don't get it. And okay, so this is where when back then I'm trying to understand this whole remake problem, I found this YouTuber called Lindsay Ellis. Shout out to you if you ever listen to us. Big fan. So she talked about this whole problem with Disney remakes, and she actually shared. I'm going to share a clip here where I'm going to edit on.
In a 1981 letter Eisner wrote to Paramount executives before he jumped ship to become the CEO of the Disney company, he penned what is widely considered to be his ethos and possibly the most 1980s thing ever written. "We have no obligation to make art," said Eisner. "We have no obligation to make history. We have no obligation to make a statement, but to make money. It is often important to make history, to make art, or to make some significant statement. In order to make money, we must always make entertaining movies. And if we make entertaining movies, at times we will reliably make history, art, a statement, or all three. We may even win awards." This was an ethos carried through to his time at Disney.
So that was actually the CEO of Disney. And Lindsay Ellis, she found this press conference that he did where he openly said that he is not someone who is going to prioritize making good movies. Because at that point when he took over, if I'm getting my historical facts right, Disney was in financial troubles lah. They're not doing that well. So he came out and said that, look, I'm not going to focus making good movies. I'm going to make good, solid, average movies. And then his theory is that if I make 5 average movies, at least one of them will stand out. And that was the plan. I guess in terms of financial income, they did it and they were successful in that terms. And then this is where, so happened, I have a friend who has a sister, full admiration for her because she's Malaysian and she got a job in Pixar.
Right.
Yeah, so I couldn't help it, but I have to bug my friend to ask her sister, like, why in the world is Disney just remaking things over and over, even for Pixar, you know? Toy Story 4, good movie, but was it necessary? I really don't know lah, okay?
I thought it was.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Good.
But necessary or not, I don't know lah, okay? Let's put it there. Because Toy Story 3 was the perfect ending already. So she shared with us that the reason why there's so many remakes on both Pixar's and the live action remake is because Disney has been investing in a lot of new CGI and new tech for whatever animation lah, okay? 3D and then texture and all that. So they invested a lot in that, and they didn't want to invest any more in creating new stories because one, that's the riskiest part of their business, and two, that's the most time-consuming part of their business. So they rather spend less on the story development part of the phase and just do remakes where they know people will flock to the cinemas just for the sake of nostalgia, and they can experiment this tech where even though it doesn't look good, hey, people are still going to throw money at them anyway.
So basically, the studio who made Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, Disney: The Rise of Mediocrity.
Yeah, you can say that. So I mean, the last out of 10 movies from Disney were so mediocre. Don't take the MCU lah. Okay, that's
MCU is a thing of their own.
thing,
Kevin
right?
Feige is doing an amazing job with that. Yeah.
And that was absorbed into them. Whereas, let's say you said Star Wars, the new trilogy started after they took over from LucasArts, so it is a full Disney thing. And we're going to talk about Kathleen Kennedy later on, right? She is a problem on her own there, okay? Man. So yeah, Disney remakes, man. I can't understand why they're doing this.
It's like that scene in Rogue One where the Death Star blows up Jakku. Only this time the Death Star has 2 extra Mickey Mouse ears around it. Jakku basically represents our childhood favorites and dreams. And the laser beam is basically Disney's greed.
I think at this point, if you recorded this on video, you can see the pain in my face. I don't know.
But it's true. Like, what are you? They're basically recycling stuff for the sake of getting money, and then none. Okay, maybe some of it is going to original content, but the original content isn't being as championed as much as the Disney remakes in terms of marketing and prominence.
Onward that just came out, the marketing was minimal, man. One poster, one trailer, it's out and it's done. That's it. There's no push. There's nothing.
But didn't the movie got like mediocre reviews?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what?
Look, all the remakes has mediocre reviews and yet they're pushing it so hard.
But also like other Disney Plus movies, which apparently I heard were good. I mean, we don't have Disney Plus. We haven't received Disney Plus here yet in Malaysia. But there was this movie which I heard glowing reviews for. Not one single shred of marketing that I've seen on the internet. Togo with Willem Dafoe. I heard that was very good. But again,
streaming platforms, listen to our episode on Netflix. It's the same problem with Netflix. They have good movies but they don't push it. Instead they push the movies that sell. I understand it's all about the money at the end of the day, but if you do that throughout a long run, you're just killing the quality content that you have and people's perception of watching good shows, and you just ruin it.
Good shows is basically above average to cinephiles. So, good shows to the average streamer viewer is basically above average for the cinema.
Yeah,
the cinephile.
365 days.
Don't even get me started on that.
But yeah, you were saying Disney Plus has good shows, but they also have really bad shows like that.
Artemis Fowl.
Yeah.
Artemis Fowl was dumped there. It was a different thing altogether. They knew it was gonna bomb.
But that was marketed more than Togo.
It was in development for how many years? 3 years.
I don't know. 3 years and they couldn't make it good. I don't know. I don't even know what's up there anyway. And Disney here, they have Disney Plus now, and they are one of the new studios that are pushing direct to streaming content. which is something I think I can say for Delta we find really hard to swallow.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, you are going to kill the cinemas.
It's bottlenecking all the good movies to just streaming, and then not many people will have a very good cinematic experience for that certain title, whereas mass audience perception of a good movie will be something akin to, sorry to say, Mulan or
Yeah.
The Lion King 2019, 2020, you know?
And it's funny, like now I just thought about it, right? You said that when it goes to streaming, it removes the cinematic quality, right?
Yeah.
That's true. So that's the funny thing. Movies like Mulan, Lion King, which on whatever other remakes they've done recently, the stories are mediocre. But you cannot deny that they look good. Like Mulan, from the trailers,
Oh,
Mulan,
yes.
yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
So it's funny how when it goes direct to streaming, all that good aesthetics will be lost on the TV.
Yeah, like I
Kinda defeats the
even
purpose.
the reviewer who gave Mulan 2020 a positive review, she said, this is Christy Lemire from RogerEbert.com. I remember she paraphrased something about her wishing she could experience this cinematography and sound mix in a big crowded theatre with cheers from the fellow audience members. Alas, in the US, the movie is being released direct to Disney Plus. No theatrical
Of
release.
course, for the current times,
Yeah, for the current time, I understand
yeah.
because in the US, it's you
Yeah.
can't really go out and see in certain parts.
Yeah.
But we're getting it in the rest of the world, which doesn't have Disney Plus, including Malaysia. So you see, like there's some films which are meant for the theatrical experience. I know the director of Mulan 2020, Nikki Caro. She has a very good visual eye. If you've seen her 2002 movie Whale Rider, but I think it definitely does not add up well if you were to watch it on a TV screen or a
Just
computer
like any
screen.
other show.
Yeah, I mean it's just like it's junk food.
Yeah.
You watch junk food on your phone because it's fast and convenient. It's McDonald's.
Yeah.
Mulan originally was meant for a theatrical release. Definitely not McDonald's. It's
Yeah.
more like I would say Carl's Jr. Sorry, Carl's
It's like,
Jr.
it's like Java.
I cannot think of any other example, but yeah, it's like
My burger lab.
one
That's too high of a jump.
it's like
That's too high.
one notch above McDonald's,
Yeah.
But still, it looks great, and no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Like, because Nicky Caro's a talented filmmaker. That was probably the only reason why I'm curious about Mulan 2020. But sadly, reviews made it as if history is repeating itself. Lion King, Aladdin, Cinderella. Why are these movies being made? Why are they being like prioritized over original content? Like Disney used to be like the spearhead for original family entertainment. Like look at the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and
Great
the 90s
stuff.
especially,
Yeah.
golden era of Disney. What are we having now? We're not having the golden era. We're having the golden raspberries of Disney right now. So yeah, I mean,
That came out of nowhere.
I mean, yeah, look at it right now. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we are really not for direct to streaming, and it really hurts that such a big studio like Disney, and if they decide to do it, right, they're going to cause waves, ripples in the industry, which is not fun, lah. I think we can do an entire separate
Oh yeah,
podcast
I'm looking forward to
just
that.
on the issues of direct to streaming because cinemas will suffer. Yeah, that's a whole other thing altogether.
Like I remember having this conversation with a friend of mine regarding the Disney remake, and this was when Cinderella came out. Like we were saying, who's going to be revisiting the new one versus the old one?
Yeah.
Because of course the new one, more technological advancements in filmmaking
Yeah.
and storytelling technique.
Yeah.
Definitely high tech stuff, better composer. Sure, why not? But are you going to go for when you talk to the normal Disney fan? What do you think they're going to pick first?
Of course, the old one.
Of course,
Yeah.
because it's colorful, it's vibrant, So even that by itself is more of an attraction than the new one, which
But
is too sleek.
Here's the thing. I totally agree with that. But now I'm just thinking from the younger audience point of view. Kids who has never seen the original animated
And that's the
series.
scary part.
Yeah, because I run an independent cinema here in Malaysia, and when I have younger audiences come in, and when I ask them to watch a 2D animation, they are not very inclined. Somehow, the younger audience, well, I won't say all lah, okay, but I'm just going to generalize for the majority of them who were not exposed to 2D animations, like they never watched Studio Ghibli before and all that, they have a very poor stigma against 2D animation.
Very biased.
Yeah, for them it's just inferior. Somehow they just think that 3D or whatever looks better. 100%.
That's a shame. That's a real shame. I really wish that this stigma, 3D is better than 2D, Or maybe even the opposite also, some people say 2D is better than 3D.
No.
There's no such thing.
Yeah.
A good movie is a good movie.
Yeah.
Maybe a 2D or 3D
It's
doesn't
just
matter how.
a different form of art.
Yeah.
It's just like, black or white or color.
Mhm.
The same thing is just a different form of art.
Like I know a lot of purists who say, oh, 2D is always going to be the way for, that's for animation. But no, there have been terrific 3D animated movies. Inside Out is probably one of the best I've ever seen.
Love it.
But yeah, going back to the debate between 3D and 2D, it's not about which is better. It's about how does the movie make you feel.
Yeah.
If the effect is the same, does it really matter if it's 3D or 2D? Thing is, the younger generation, obviously because 3D is being pushed as hell as the be all end all of animation, and that is the worrying part, because we should not forget the 2D. That's where 3D comes from. The origins of 3D was 2D.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have movies like Inside Out or
Toy Story
if it weren't for those classic golden era Disney animations like The Little Mermaid, like The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Tarzan. We wouldn't have those today. Even Atlantis, The Lost Empire, completely underrated movie. Still, we wouldn't have some of those great action adventure titles like The Incredibles or Incredibles 2 if it weren't for fast-paced Disney animation like that.
Yeah. So it's really sad to see that what decisions Disney has been making through the last few years. And I think one of the things that I really can pick on is how they handled Star Wars. It's really painful. Like what Delton mentioned earlier, for such a big franchise like Star Wars, right, it's being controlled, but being led by a person called Kathleen Kennedy. So she's playing the same role as Kevin Feige, who is leading the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In case you don't know, Kevin Feige is basically the mastermind of the whole MCU.
Correct.
You have all the individual directors of each film, but he is there to make sure that all of them are following like an overarching story arc, so that everything is the same tone and manner, has the same plots, generally the bigger plot of the story, and it all comes together very nicely.
Kevin Feige planned everything out from the get-go, from Iron Man days. Maybe some plans, they do change here and there, but the ultimate,
Generally,
the starting goal and the end goal practically remain the same, and he succeeded.
And most importantly, he's a comic book fan.
Exactly.
He himself is a comic nerd.
He is holding the Marvel comics to his heart when he's making these movies. I mean, whether you love them or hate him, you can't deny that they have all a similar feel and look to it. That's what makes the MCU, the MCU.
Yes.
One more thing, if he ever decides to release his business plans on, let's say he writes a book on business, like how to produce films and everything, I would buy the shit out of him.
Yeah, man. I can't imagine planning that whole Trinity saga. That's just crazy. And since you're talking about Marvel, I think just a short moment of silence to our
Chadwick
beloved
Boseman. Yeah, rest in peace, man. Rest in power.
Wakanda forever. It has to be said.
Yeah, man. Really, what a loss. Really, what a loss.
Yeah. Full of him. So yeah, back to Kathleen Kennedy. So she is in charge of Star Wars, right? And she became in charge of Star Wars when Disney bought over the Lucasfilm rights, if I'm not mistaken. Along those lines, yeah. So since she took over, Star Wars has been a mess, That's the easiest way to put it.
I agree.
I am someone who loves Star Wars not because I like the movies. I think they are okay movies, but what I love is the world. The lore. I play the games. I read some of the books. So the whole universe of Star Wars, the Jedi, the Sith, the history that they have, what makes a lightsaber, all those things are great about Star Wars, and I absolutely love it. The movies, they were okay. They had some really nice moments like Duel of Fates with Darth Maul. There's some X-Wing battles were great. If you really want to look at them as films, they're okay I wouldn't say they're the best of films Okay.
No, Empire Strikes Back is terrific.
Except only that.
That movie was absolutely terrific. So in terms of atmosphere and feel and storytelling, it was great.
Especially for the time that it came out.
Even now, I would say you look at it now and you still feel like that's something I want to watch again, which the rest of the Star Wars movies do not have. That's what the original trilogy had.
I think listening to us talk about this, we might just do an episode comparing all the trilogies, just for the heck of it. So yeah, this new trilogy, right? The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker.
It's like The Hobbit to the original Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, you can really say that. Oh my god, it's bad. They broke every rule of the Star Wars universe that was made. If intentionally, yes, maybe you can try to do it, but you do it well. But then when they did it in The Last Jedi, where they like, oh, screw all the rules, we're gonna rewrite everything. But then they chicken out of it, and then we try to rejig everything in The Rise of Skywalker.
Like I'm going to be in the minority here, like saying that The Last Jedi didn't bother me as much as it did other fans, but I understand where the division comes from.
Yeah.
It made me actually curious to see how they were going to tackle the ninth episode.
Yeah.
Because I actually enjoyed The Last Jedi, and I enjoyed The Force Awakens too.
Force Awakens was fine, man.
Force Awakens
enjoyable.
was played it too safe,
Yes.
but The Last Jedi I can see it played it straight too far.
Yeah.
You know,
and in The Rise of Skywalker,
The Rise of
it's just straight
Skywalker-
nowhere.
The Rise of Skywalker, it basically U-turned and fell down a sinkhole. That's how I felt about The Rise of Skywalker. It was such a what do you call it, a backwards kind of franchise film. It went nowhere, like you said.
it went
just
nowhere.
like it was pointless. It made the last two movies absolutely pointless. To an extent, it made the entire Skywalker saga pointless.
Yeah.
So
It's really sad.
I don't know. I really like.
So this is a problem here, right? If I'm sorry, I don't know Kathleen Kennedy personally. From what I've heard from her, she seems to know Star Wars.
No, the thing is, I thought she would know better because she had a lot of experience in
Yes,
producing
she was
Spielberg's and Lucas movies. She was one of the head producers of the Indiana Jones movies from the very start.
Yep.
So I had the impression that okay, she knows Spielberg and Lucas, and maybe she would know what she was doing. And clearly, after The Last Jedi, it's been apparent that she doesn't know what she's doing.
It's weird. It's really weird. Like, if I'm going to pin down why Star Wars messed up, right, I really don't know where else to look at but Kathleen Kennedy, because she calls the shots. She picks the directors to work on, and she's like Kevin Feige. She controls that bigger overarching arc of the whole Star Wars world. Because Disney has already announced, we are going to do not just the movies, we're going to have series, we're going to have books.
Like an entirely new franchise.
A whole new universe, cinematic universe, if you want to call it. But then you see, we get a really below mediocre solo movie. Rogue One was okay.
That was good. I like
It's
Rogue One.
good, but I guess that worked out because they had an idea of what they wanted to do. They knew that it was going to lead to a new hope.
So they don't have the baggage of the previous like Force Awakens to buttress it.
Yeah.
So they basically
They had a direction.
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, whereas movies like Solo, where Han Solo's past has not really been explored, where they have to create it.
Why? You have to ask
Don't
why.
even get us started on how his name was given to him. It's fucking ridiculous.
Anime style naming for him.
I think we're just gonna talk about it. So what happens is that Han Solo's character has no name. He's just called Han, right?
Yeah.
Or something. And then because of he was an space immigration, he has no surname.
The officer asked him, "Do you have family?" No. And then just names Han Solo.
And he writes that, and that's it. That's how he gets his name. You see, if it's any other character like Chewbacca or Boba Fett or whatever, a side character,
I did enjoy how him and Chewbacca met though. That was fun.
that's okay.
Yeah.
So talking about how he gets his name, Han Solo's name is he's a beloved character, and his name is pretty kick-ass. Even until today, when you just hear the name, you don't even know the character Han Solo. It sounds great. It's a great name. So you don't throw it like that. You must show it a certain respect, a certain craft to it.
When that scene happened, right, my eyebrows raised like Roger Moore's. Like, something's not right,
And if you didn't know, right, George Lucas actually intentionally had all the characters' name be a 3-consonant or 5-consonant name because it sounds great, Han Solo, 3. Luke Skywalker, it sounds great. Darth Vader, 3.
It's easier to say.
Yeah, Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's a certain rhyme to it, and it's all intentional. So the craft of the name in Star Wars has some art to it, and when it's just treated like that, a random immigration officer, Han Solo, and that's how he got his name. It's a travesty. It's insulting to the fans, I feel. I just cannot. Kathleen Kennedy, what the hell? She's the creative lead of this new Star Wars, and it's really scary to see what she's gonna do if she's gonna keep going in this path forward. It's really scary.
Okay, what did you think about, let's say it's in Solo, right? You realize that it was under production hell for a time that they fired the original two directors and they
again, Kathleen Kennedy's fault. If it's under production hell, she's in production hell. She's in charge of production. She's in charge of the credit too. What's going on with her? If it's under production hell, I know like the actors had problem casting, director's problem, but it's all under Kathleen Kennedy's charge. She is the one who is making the shots.
Right.
So if she said if the production hell was because of creative differences and all that, right? Well, she should have ironed out all the creative directions before they even started making decisions and falling into production hell. Why even? I mean, if directors are sacked because they couldn't pull off the creative direction, then the head of the creative direction should be sacked if the whole franchise can't follow a creative direction. It's just like that.
I think it's because of The Last Jedi. That one really threw the map of Star Wars out of the window. Rian Johnson, don't get me wrong, he's a good filmmaker. Like he's made Looper, which I was
Looper is fun.
Greatly intriguing science fiction film. Of course, Knives Out, even after Last Jedi, Knives Out was a fun murder mystery.
Looper is a better time loop travel movie than Tenet. Now that you brought it up, it reminded me.
Okay, I agree. Looper is better than Tenet.
See?
Still, but still,
let's not go there.
That's another episode by itself. But Star Wars The Last Jedi, I get it that Rian Johnson wanted to put his own spin on Star Wars. Say he's the sole writer and director for the film. Obviously, he wants to put his own artistic touches to the film.
No problem.
I get that. The thing is, it needs to come under QC by not just Kathleen Kennedy, but everybody else who is associated with Star Wars. Who's saying, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to do this? I mean, does it tie in with the plans that we have for episode 9?
Yeah.
I mean, I get that. He just nope, scrunched it out the window.
So again, Kathleen Kennedy
dividing fence.
she needs to be there to say yes or no to these things. And if it's a yes, next movie make sure it follows through. If it's a no, then next movie follows through. You cannot just make a swing left and right as you like. Because movies like Star Wars is a franchise, it's a legacy. It's not just a one-off. It's just a one-off fine. You can do whatever you want. Or if it's like Fast and Furious, where it doesn't really matter. One day a car can fly or go underwater. It does not matter because it's Fast and Furious. But in Star Wars, it's a whole different ballgame.
You saw what John Boyega said about his character recently.
It was such a sad. Finn is such a sad character.
I know. They built up so much promise for Finn, and then they just wasted him in the last movie. Really, not even last movie. You can see the beginning of the end in The Last Jedi. And he recently came out, John Boyega, the actor who plays Finn, he recently came out saying Disney just cast him
to make up numbers, man.
To make up numbers as a token minority character, and then just cast him aside once they're done with his arc, which is sad. It's horrible. It's not.
Finn's character was one of the most exciting characters in Star Wars a long time.
After Force Awakens came out, the speculation for his character was through the roof, right? We were all hoping secretly that he would be Lando Calrissian's son, which turns out
why not? Why not?
Not to be the case, unfortunately.
It's horrible. I can't wait for. I'm pretty sure they have a clause where they can't say much about Star Wars, but I'm sure it will run out in the next 5 or 10 years. And when that happens, and because how outspoken John Boyega is, right? I really want to hear what he has to say about what happened behind the scenes in Star Wars.
I look forward to that day.
Because they, for lack of better words, they rape his characters.
Oh god.
Yeah. Really, they didn't do Finn justice at all. It's really bad. And another thing that you reminded me now, we didn't get a lightsaber duel in this new trilogy, which is another issue I have. I understand that they are at a time where the Sith and the Jedi are not properly formed, and Rey and Kylo Ren are not properly trained. I don't care. It's Star Wars. You need a lightsaber duel.
Didn't the Force Awakens have one?
No.
The last part.
It wasn't. They were just clobbering each another.
Clang.
Yeah,
clang.
because both. See, if Force Awakens they couldn't do the duel because they are untrained, I can accept that they are clobbering away. They're just swinging mindlessly and relying on instincts. That's fine. But you need development with characters, and with that comes their skill. So as they get better, their lightsaber fights should get better. And what we got, don't talk about Last Jedi. Let's just talk about Rise of Skywalker, where she fought Kylo Ren on that bridge where the water is flowing in and out.
I mean, cool looking, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
cool looking.
But the duel itself was blah. There was nothing to it, so I'm a bit disappointed that we didn't get any lightsaber duels. When lightsaber duels are a huge part of Star Wars, whether you want to call it fan service or not. too bad, it's Star Wars, it has to happen. It's Star Wars, it's lightsabers, coolest thing ever. So it's really disappointing in that sense. Kathleen Kennedy, where are you in all this? I really don't know. You might as well get Mark Hamill to play the role, and I'm pretty sure it'll turn out great. And if you didn't know, right, Mark Hamill during the whole marketing push, the whole hype train, right, before Last Jedi, right, Mark Hamill was very outspoken about how much he hated The Last Jedi. He throughout all the interviews, he was very disgruntled.
Disgruntled, yes. I wouldn't actually say outright hate for The Last Jedi, but he did. I thought he said like something along like I completely fundamentally disagree with what Rian Johnson is doing.
He hated the whole thing. He hated. And the funny thing is, right, as he went along, you could tell that his appearances were less, and you can tell that he wants to say things, but he implied that he can't because of powers to be.
Maybe 5 years down the line, he'll have like a chat room with Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, and Mark Hamill.
I want it to happen.
Just to see what discrepancies they've had with Kathleen Kennedy.
I want it to happen. Even Adam Driver, man. Great actor.
The best thing about the trilogy, Adam Driver, hands down.
Yeah. But was he utilized? No. Kylo Ren was the same character almost from start to end. That whiny brat who just shouts and get emotional.
That whiny.
Last Jedi, he was bad. So whiny in the Last Jedi. He and General Hux was just shouting and this scene, I shout louder than you, I'm in power. And
Hux was turned into a joke.
Yeah, Hux was also a great actor.
Donald Gleason, yeah.
Wasted. I don't know what's up, man. So much question marks, so much lack of direction. It's just really sad to see the Star Wars franchise, because I read recently, with this poor trilogy, right, we have a whole generation who will grow up not liking Star Wars. They're just going to be like, yeah, Star Wars, that old thing my dad likes, instead of loving it.
Yeah, Star Wars, I like that, you know. Oh wow, we countless generations, and then it implores them to revisit the old franchise, and then it's like, wow, great works, you know.
But because of how the new trilogy is, they won't have that appeal. They won't. For them, it feels so blah. You know?
They need a movie like Skyfall or Batman Begins to really reinvigorate the franchise, and those come along very rarely nowadays.
And that's a scary thing, because whatever happens next will really determine the fate of how Star Wars restart or just go down the pipeline to death lah.
Yeah.
Because I think, let's say Star Wars is a lot of it, the money that they make is toy sales, and I can tell you that the sales, The Force Awakens buttloads were sold,
of course,
but The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker's
General action figure,
the figurines and the Lego sets are not selling well really. It's so bad because the movies are bad, and because of that, when the kids don't play with the toys, their love for the franchise won't grow. And well, it's just a vicious cycle lah.
Like you see, The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, like it is so mediocre. It actually forces you to go back and rethink your original opinion for Force Awakens and Last Jedi.
You might as well even bring in Phantom Menace.
That's the whole point of the. No, Phantom Menace was fine already.
Yeah,
like, even
but because of The Last Jedi, the Phantom Menace becomes even better now. You see, I hold it in higher step.
I know, actually, to be honest, I've always hold the Phantom Menace in high regard. Even way before this whole new trilogy came out by Disney, I actually like the prequels. Obviously, not as good as the original trilogy, but the prequels,
they were good. As a kid, I really enjoyed.
They actually told a complete arc.
Yeah.
Like it was a proper. I mean, the midi-chlorians are ridiculous, lah.
Actually, I thought it was fine.
Yeah, but to me, it was ridiculous a bit. Now it looks less so. Yep. But yeah, it told a complete story arc, like how Anakin is this innocent kid to this like young Jedi in training to this evil dude, and then finally, you know, redemption.
The only problem I have with the prequel trilogy is that there was too much
wooden acting.
No, even that I'm actually okay. Too much politics. Star Wars was never about.
But you see, even if there's too much politics in the prequel trilogy, they actually built up to what happened in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah,
I get that. Like, okay.
Those scenes in the counseling hall, that's just too much. I mean, it can be there, but it could be balanced out better. But that's another thing.
Episode. You see, because that time Lucas was hell-bent on his vision.
Yeah.
And even the directors who made the movies he didn't direct, Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, they respected his vision. It was all Lucas.
Yeah.
So you see Disney, The Force Awakens onwards, they didn't have a proper plan. It was thrown out by Ryan Johnson.
Yeah. And the thing is, there was a planner by the name of Kathleen Kennedy.
Who threw out the plan along with Ryan
So
Johnson.
what is she doing? I'm pretty sure she's getting paid thousands every month. But what is she doing? I have no
millions,
idea.
yeah.
No freaking idea. Oh my goodness.
I don't know.
And this is a scary thing. We're talking about how the Star Wars name can be ruined for future generations, right? And now here I'm thinking, right, even Disney, the name Disney, might be ruined. I mean, Disney's name is great lah. So, but it will take many years lah. Maybe another 10, 20 years.
No, we watch movies with the name Walt Disney, but the name Disney as a corporation by itself has completely been run to the ground in terms of cinema by the 1-2 punch of Disney remakes and Star Wars trilogy.
Last time when Beauty and the Beast came out, right, with Emma Watson, right,
Yeah.
I was actually excited. I'm like, oh, finally Disney trying something lah. Like,
Okay.
sure, let's go for it. Or any Disney animated or whatever. I'm like,
Exact
yeah,
same thing.
let's go for it. But right now, after so many mediocre remakes, right, when I see Disney, I don't feel excited. I actually feel like, maybe not.
I think the problem is they release these new movies too soon to one another. I think they should just like wait every 1 or 2 years, then one. Then okay, I get that. But it's like 2 or 3 per year. It's like too much. Even those coming out on Disney Plus.
They pride themselves on being a machine because they.
And that's the scary part.
Yes, they are a machine. You can't deny that, and they pride themselves because they are such a big studio. They can do that and compete and dominate the market. Like they can say, like, look at this. Disney made 20 movies last year, and like Warner Brothers made 5. So because of that, just by in that numbers, right, the audiences are more exposed to the Disney brand.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, the Disney brand gets more exposure, and then blah 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 blah.
Mickey Mouse ears Death Star, man. It's real.
It's real. It's real.
It's coming over the horizon after your favorite classics.
So really, I really feel that once like our generation, when I say our generation, we are like 30s lah, okay, and above. So even to our parents' generation, which is the 50 and 60-year-olds, I think once our generation from 30 to 60 onwards pass, right, and then the younger generations take over, Disney will lose its charm and its attraction. Because when we see Disney, we still get excited. But I think the younger generation, when they see Disney now, it's like whatever.
Yeah,
it doesn't really attract them
There's
anymore.
no proper QC for this. It's just like, oh, we'll just follow the same template. Maybe add 1 or 2 changes to make it like appeal to the token minority. So like, yeah, it's not really.
It's funny because Disney prides themselves as a brand, but they're ruining their brand by just coming out.
No, they are priding themselves as a consumer brand. They're not priding themselves as a quality brand. That's a big difference, you know. Quality brand, MCU. Say what you will about MCU as in terms of whatever they churn out, they are consistent in quality. They know what they're doing.
Yes.
Kevin Feige knows what he's doing.
Yes. And I think they are a separate thing, like we said earlier. They were brought into Disney. They didn't start under Disney.
Yeah.
So because of that, Disney has to respect what they were doing already.
Same goes with Pixar. Disney, they're just brought in by Disney, you know. And
even
Disney,
Pixar's newer movies are also starting to show signs of falling in.
because John Lasseter's not there anymore, but John Lasseter screwed up. That's another story.
Because all the great Disney Pixar movies that we love were from that 3 or 4 guys, and all of them created all those stories in that one dining session that they had. There is a great story there where they wrote all those ideas on that tissue paper. So that tissue paper has run out, and we have now is the start of a new wave of Pixar
I
stories.
think Pixar started to decline almost 10 years ago because of Cars 2.
Yeah.
To be honest, that was the beginning of the end. Because before then, like almost every Pixar movie was gold.
Yeah.
You know, Wall-E, Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, Bugs Life, Toy Story 1, 2, 3. You know, where can you get 3 consecutive movies in the same franchise which are all good or great even?
And the thing about Cars 2, if you Google, it's quite openly said that they did it for the money.
Yeah.
Because Cars 1, toys sold amazingly well. So they acknowledged that, and Toys 2, they did it just for the sake of getting money and to fund the other original films. They were very open about
Cars
it.
1 at least had some moral message, you know, great for families.
So fun, yeah.
Cars 1 was fun. Cars 2 was some James Bond knockoff. I'll get to that another time.
Yeah.
But but in between they still made some great films.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like Inside Out, terrific
Best
movie.
film since Toy Story.
Exactly. That like one of the golden best.
Yeah.
Like Inside Out. And Up also was terrific.
Yes.
I've grown to appreciate Up with each consecutive viewing. And I look forward to the newest movie Soul, which is from the same director as Inside Out and Up, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
Kid Doctor.
Yeah.
I think he's
one
probably
of the original.
so
teams.
one of the old guards at
Yeah.
Pixar, and I think he's doing a terrific job. So Soul is right up there with my want to watch list of the year.
I hope so.
I mean,
I hope so.
I'm not gonna watch Onward. Onward is something again like Mulan. I'm in no hurry to watch Onward. But
Was
Soul is
it
up there.
by one of the core founding members of Pixar?
New guys?
New guys.
Yeah. Just think of it as like Onward, like the good dinosaur. Well, it looks.
Oh yeah, the good dinosaur.
Well, it looks terrific, but I don't want to see anything like that ever again. Like it's just like shallow candy. Like similar to most of the Disney remakes nowadays. I'm not gonna watch. I'm probably in no rush to see Mulan. I'll see it if it's in theaters or streaming. I'm not gonna pay 30 USD for it, no way. But
Even if it's free on TV, I might
even
not
if
even watch it.
you're gonna have to pay me to watch it. But yeah, no. Like you see, like your place also. Somebody came over just to watch the old Mulan as a palate cleanser after watching the new one.
They had to purge the memories of the live action remake. Oh man, I can't even imagine how bad it is that the customer is going to do that.
Man, it's probably not going to be the first time. So I probably expect a lot more people to come in. Like, I
hope
want
so.
to wash the memory of the new one out of my head.
Because we've been trying so hard to push 2D animation. But anyway, so that's us talking about Mulan and Disney and Star Wars and how things are quite gloomy if it's gonna keep going down this path. I can't see.
For every gloom, there's always going to be an uprise.
A24.
Yeah, like or maybe Disney gets its act together. I mean, it's
I hope so.
I want it to get its act together. And if they ever do continue the remake route, I'm not saying don't make the remake. I'm just saying have a bit of QC there. You know? Like if you want to make a remake, make sure it's something new and not contrived. Like say, oh, we're not gonna put in musicals. We're not gonna put in Mushu just for the sake of saying, oh, it's new, it's different. Add something of value that resonates with the modern day. That's how you make it relevant.
And if you don't want us to compare, just don't do a remake. Do a new story altogether.
Exactly.
What even, man?
Yeah, do more stuff like Togo. When are we gonna get another movie like Bridge to Terabithia? When are we gonna get another movie like The Fox and the Hound, The Black Cauldron?
Slowly wait.
Yeah.
Slowly wait.
Now that one actually, Black Cauldron. Full disclosure, I don't mind seeing a live action remake of that. That's an underrated gem.
So I don't think we'll do one last thing today because I think we're just feeling too much pain talking about Mulan.
It hurts talking about Mulan and then segueing into Star Wars. Man, Disney, come on, man. Don't make me think that you're this evil Death Star with the Mickey Mouse ears. I'm sorry, that image keeps popping up. It's a meme. It's all over the internet now. Get your act together, please.
But if I have to choose between Disney or Netflix to continue along this evil path, I would choose Disney lah. Let's just put it that way.
The lesser of two evils, huh?
Yeah, at least they're not. At least they haven't reached Cutie's level. Rubbish.
Oh no.
Okay, so that's us signing out again. If you haven't followed us on Instagram, social media, or subscribed to us on Spotify, YouTube, and on Anchor, do that.
Subscribe, man.
Thank you.
Alright, ciao.
Ciao.
Have a good one.